Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dylan, and welcome to Dylan the True Podcast. If you guys are new to this channel, I'd like for you guys to subscribe to this channel and also hit that like button. Deeply appreciate it. Um, this segment is about Chris Paul. Um, there was a news that came out that the Phoenix Suns actually waived Chris Paul. Um, the thing with Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, I wasn't surprised by it because due to his age, Chris Paul is 38, and he's obviously in the tail end of his career. He's not, what he once was. When he was on New Orleans, I think they were called something else, but New Orleans Pelicans, and Los Angeles Clippers. Chris Paul has been in the decline for the last few years. He still brings like leadership. He can still hit some shots. He has spurts where, he can have an amazing game, but on a consistent basis, he cannot do that anymore. If you look at his numbers for the season, it's not too bad. He averaged 14 points, he averaged 9 assists, he averaged 4 rebounds for a point guard. That's not too bad. His field goal percentage was 44%. His 3-point percentage was, I believe, 38%, which is actually excellent. And then his free throws has always been solid, 83%. But when you compare it to his career numbers, obviously it went down, across the border, like except for the 3-point line. Basically, his career average is 18 points. He averaged 10 assists. He averaged 5 rebounds for his career. He also averaged about 41% from the field, and no, 47% from the field. Also, he averaged 37% from the 3-point line, and 87% from the free throw line. Chris Paul has an amazing career, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him actually helping the team. Only on a leadership perspective. Like, that's the only way I could see him actually helping the team. As far as physically, I don't think he has it anymore because you have to look at, his last few years. The teams that he played for, New Orleans Pelicans, LA Clippers, when they were known as the Lob City, the Houston Rockets with James Harden, the OKC Thunder, which was a pretty young team. He was a vet on that squad, and then recently Phoenix Suns. They had a super team with Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. That was supposed to be, since they made that trade, a lot of people were talking about they were going to win the championship. I never felt that way. I felt they were going to get bounced in the second round. And lo and behold, look what happened. But that's not the here or there. This is about Chris Paul. Chris Paul, what is his Achilles heel so far? It's his injuries. For the past few seasons, in every playoff series, he gets hurt at the absolute worst time. Like, for example, I think the biggest one was again when Houston Rockets went up against the Golden State Warriors. That was a year I believe Houston Rockets could have won it all. I believe that was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe it was in 2018. Chris Paul had his handprint on that series. He was playing really well against Golden State. Golden State was a defending champions. They were stacked. They had the Splash Brothers with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You had Kevin Durant. You had Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, and then the rest of the cast. This would have been huge. But then he got hurt in Game 5, which led him to miss Game 6 and Game 7, which cost them possibly a championship that season. It was just unfortunate. I felt that was his last best chance to get a title, and it didn't happen due to the injuries. It always happens to him. I don't know why that is. It seems like he's cursed in some way. Uh, and then against the OKC Thunder, when he was on the OKC Thunder, he played solid, but they were a young team. They weren't really going anywhere, so it was more like a team that was rebuilding. So I didn't expect much from him in that series. And then when he went with the Phoenix Suns, obviously it's supposed to put them over the top because Devin Booker has been like a solid player. It's just he never played with somebody that had a leadership like Chris Paul. So once Chris Paul got there, it actually made them legit because he's a point guard. He facilitates the whole offense. He gets guys in the right spots, and it makes it a lot easier for Devin Booker to operate, where he doesn't have to, try to play point guard. That's not really his forte. He can do it at times, but you rather leave that point guard duty to Chris Paul, aka Point God. And that's the reason why they call him that because he's like that traditional point guard. He looks to pass first, try to get everybody else involved, not him trying to look for his numbers, and then he will pass whenever he feels like it. He's not like a scoring guard. He can score, but that's not his objective. His objective is to make his teammates better. So I felt like he got the short end of the stick. Um, it's just unfortunate. I mean, this guy has been in the league for 18 seasons. He's the same age as LeBron James, but obviously they're two different players. Obviously, LeBron James is still going pretty strong. He's still one of the elite players in the league, whereas Chris Paul is kind of, he's a shell of what he was. And, he's a liability on defense. He was actually really good on defense, to be quite honest. He was on the defensive first team like multiple times. I believe on the second team as well. He was a really good. He was a great defender for his position. A little undersized. He's 6 feet, but he's feisty. He'll do whatever it takes to win the game, and you have to respect that. It's just luck hasn't came his way as far as him winning the championship. I remember that year when the Lakers were trying to make a trade for him. At the time when David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA, he vetoed the trade. The trade was about to happen and he just stopped it. And the only reason why he was able to do it because New Orleans at the time did not have an owner. So because they didn't have an owner, that means the commissioner could actually step in and stop it at any given time. Had they had an owner, David Stern wouldn't be able to do that. It would have to been up to the owners to make that decision. But due to the fact that they didn't have an owner for the New Orleans, that's why David Stern did what he did. Possibly Kobe could have had his sixth championship if those two played together. I mean, I think it was supposed to be the big three: Chris Paul, Kobe Bryant, and Dwight Howard. Boy, that would have been a hell of a team. But it didn't happen. Some people thought like he had a great chance in L.A. The other team, Clippers. When he was over there, they were a very exciting team. They called him the Lob City because he always throwing alley hoops to his bigs, like Blake Griffin when he was explosive, and who was the other guy? Jordan. Those two are high flyers. These are like forwards, a power forward, and a center. They could fly out of the gym. So all Chris Paul had to do was throw it up, and it would catch it. It was very exciting, but it wasn't winning basketball like when it counted the most, like in the playoffs. They just choke. That's what Clippers always do. They're always known for that. So I didn't expect anything less from them. It's just exactly what I expected for the Clippers. But there's rumors saying that the Lakers are possibly looking to sign him. To me being a Lakers fan, I don't like it because obviously he's older. He's not the player that he once was. We need to get younger. LeBron's 38, AD's 30. We got a bunch of nice pieces, and they're all in their 20s. You can't you can't go for a guy. He's gonna be a liability on defense just because of his size, and he can't play the defense that he wants. He used to do. So I don't like it. Hopefully, Lakers don't do it. And if they do, Chris Paul would have to come off the bench. He's not started, and he would have to understand his role. Do I see it happening? Mm, uh, it's possible. It all depends. Obviously, Chris Paul would have to sign a veteran minimum, which is what I believe 2 million. I mean, they can do it, but I'd rather fill out other spots before they even think of signing him. But I mean, I wish Chris Paul all the best, but I don't know what team is going to take a chance on him due to the fact that he's at an advanced age in the NBA. He's very injury prone. You're gonna expect that whatever team signs him, expect him to get hurt at some point in the season. Now, I don't wish injury on anybody, but you rather him get hurt early during the season as opposed to late in the season going into the playoffs, because that would be the worst. And then that would probably be it for him. He would have just have to call it a career. But I don't know. That's my take on Chris Paul. I would like to thank everybody who tuned into this video. Till next time, peace.